Hey guys, what's up? My name is Megan and welcome to my YouTube channel. So since this is my first video, I wanted to introduce myself a little bit. My name is Megan. I am from Alabama. I am a hair and makeup artist. This channel is going to be all about beauty, fashion, skincare, and everything in between. You guys, I'm so excited I'm finally doing this. It's been a long time coming. Today is going to be really laid back, nothing crazy. We're just doing a everyday makeup look, a little bit elevated so that when you want to look put together, but you don't want to do the whole 9 yards. Okay, enough about me. Let's get into the video. Is it on? Okay, also, if you see me looking that way, I'm just making sure that I'm in focus. So we're gonna start with skincare. I'm a skincare junkie. I love skincare. So the first thing I'm gonna do is get into I've already washed my face today. It's very important to wash your face before you start your makeup because it's gonna just make sure all the dead skin cells are off, any dirt or anything. Even if you washed your face like this morning and it's like in the afternoon, you want to wash it like right before you do your makeup. It's going to give you the cleanest, best looking skin. So I'm using the Khiel's Ultra Facial Moisturizer and I'm just going to apply probably about that much. Not a lot, you don't really need a lot of this because it is very moisturizing. So I'm going to kind of warm it up in my hands a little bit. And then I like to start in the T-zone because I have combination skin. So I get oily like right here, and then on the outside is where I get more dry. So we're just gonna start in the T-zone and apply. I like to really moisturize the skin because it's not a good look whenever you have foundation on and it looks either cakey or it looks really dry. That's not a good look for anyone because the goal here is we're going to be, we want to look as youthful as we can, and a little bit of dewiness is the key for that. So I don't really use that many primers. Even on my clients, you're not going to really see me use a lot of primer. I like to make sure that the skin is prepped with really good skincare before I apply any kind of creams, powders, or anything like that. I really do like the Coconut Skin Smoothie Primer. It's a primer and moisturizer in one. It really helps to give a nice glow to the skin, which I love. Also, don't mind what's happening over here. My skin has actually been really great the past month or so. And of course, when I go to sit down for this tutorial, I get a breakout. It's just lovely. Okay, so that's pretty even over the skin. As you can see, it's just really nice glow. Now it's time for foundation. So since we're doing an everyday look, I don't necessarily like to do my eyes first because the look that we're doing is so simple. The eyes are not going to be dramatic, so there's not going to be really any fallout or anything that I have to worry about eyeshadow or mascara. So we're going to get into foundation. Okay, so as I'm sure you can see, my face is a lot lighter than my neck because I love to self-tan. I love being tan. It just makes me feel really good. So I'm going to be matching my foundation to my neck and the rest of my body because if you match to your face, it is not a good combination. It's the Too Faced Born This Way, let me make sure I say this right, multi-use sculpting concealer. So it's actually a little bit more of a dewy concealer. It's definitely more hydrating for under the eyes, which is great. I love that because you don't want your under eyes looking crepey or dry. But for me, I use this as a foundation because it's got great coverage. It is hydrating. You can use it as a foundation, you can use it as concealer, or you can use it as contour. So today we're going to use it for a foundation. I'm going to put my hair back. I'm going to put a little bit in my face because Your girl does not want to look bald. So I'm gonna go ahead and apply this. And like I said, you really don't need a whole lot with this. Okay, so yeah, that's really about as much as I'm gonna do. So I'm just buffing that in and also blending down to the neck too. So I like to drag, I just sound like Kourtney Kardashian. I like to drag this product and then buff it in. Okay, so now I'm gonna go on the nose. So everything is looking really good. So now we're gonna add a little bit of brightness back to the skin because we're looking pretty flat. I'm actually gonna use the same thing, but I'm gonna use it for concealer. And I am actually gonna use 2 shades for this because I am pretty tan. So I'm using light beige first, just to give us a little bit of color. And then I'm gonna go in with a much lighter shade called Swan. And I'm using a very, very light amount of this because I don't want my under eyes to look too bright. Use like the tiniest bit. Yeah. Now I am gonna put a little bit on the nose as well. I'm gonna use my e.l.f. Beauty Blender. This actually just came out not too long ago and I am completely in love with it. It's so squishy. And it actually has 2 like pointy sides. I don't even know if you can really see that. Yeah, I love this thing. I kind of feel like sometimes the Morphe one, the Morphe red one, if you've used that before, it's pretty like thick and tough. The Beauty Blender is great, of course. It's also $20 and I replace mine quite often and I use a ton of them. So I don't really want to spend $20 every time I have to get a new Beauty Blender. We're just gonna take this right underneath the eye. And I'm going pretty light because I really want to take care of my under eyes. I don't want to drag too much. So we just really want to bounce that in, just like that. Very simple, but it does a really nice job of covering up and also giving us a little bit of brightness too. And you can see I'm actually not taking the concealer and dragging it. A lot of people like to do this. So they'll take their concealer, they'll drag it here, here, and then fill that in. That is a lot of concealer. You can see we're getting a little bit of definition now. Because we were looking pretty flat, now we're getting a nice balanced face. For powder, I actually don't set my face, my whole entire face. I like to keep it pretty dewy. I do notice that with this concealer foundation, it actually sets itself, so I don't necessarily have to go in and set it with a bunch of powder for it to feel set on my face, if that makes sense. But I am going to set my under eyes because I do make a lot of facial expressions, so they tend to crease under my eyes. So today I'm just going to use the RCMA translucent powder. It's very lightweight, so I don't have to worry about my under eyes looking super crazy, but they will be set and they're not going to go anywhere. So I'm taking a little bit of that on my Beauty Blender. You can use a brush too if you want. I just find it easier for me because it presses the product in just a little bit easier. So I'm just going to take a little bit of this and just press it right there. I'm only going in the corner of my eye because that's where it tends to crease the most. on the other eye, and I'm almost like I'm blending it in, but since we are using like a good amount of powder, it is gonna still stick under there. Gosh, how much can I talk about baking? Okay, so while that's baking, I'm going to go ahead and do my eyebrows. Now, as you, I'm sure, noticed, I have no eyebrows at all. My eyebrows are non-existent, so I really have to draw them on quite a lot. And to do this, I'm going to use the Morphe Micro Brow Pencil in the shade Chocolate Mousse. And I do have to get pretty up close and personal for this, so I'm actually just going to go ahead and skip right over this. I'll show you guys how I do my brows, I'm sure, in another video, but I'm just going to go ahead and do them off camera, and I'll be right back. Now we're going to move on to bronzer. I'm using the Butter Bronzer by Physicians Formula, and this is the shade Endless Summer. So I go in circular motions and also pat because I don't want to move around the foundation too much because it's still setting. So I'm patting. And I have a pretty big forehead. So I really like to bronze it up and really put a good bit of product on there because it'll make my forehead appear much smaller. So I'm buffing it in, and then I'm going to blend it out. And since we did put that powder there, I actually just went ahead and went over it just so we blend all those lines out. So I like to put the bronzer from my ear down to my mouth. So since we did all of that, now it's time for blush. I'm gonna go ahead and take off this bake because it's been sitting here for a good minute. So I'm just kind of flicking outwards. I don't want to rub too much. I know it kind of looks like I am, but I'm being very light-handed because we don't want to interrupt that foundation. Okay, now it's time for blush. Blush is literally one of my favorite steps of the makeup process. So I'm using the Becca, Khloe, and Malika palette. It's just a, wow, that's really dirty. So I really just kind of like go into all three. So I'm pressing this onto my cheeks at the top, and then we're gonna go down. So I'm taking it and I'm patting it top and then bringing it down just slightly, and then I'm just brushing it back up. And I really, honestly, I'm one of those crazy people that just piles it on because I love blush. And I am gonna just kind of blend that out a little bit with my foundation brush. And just kind of make sure all of that is blended. Good. Okay, so now that we have the blush on, we're now going to move to highlight, which is one of my all-time favorite parts. I'm going to put a little bit on my Cupid's bow. A little bit on my nose, and then a little tad bit up here as well. Okay, so we're almost done. All we have left is the eyes and lips. So for an everyday makeup, I don't really put a whole lot of eyeshadow, liner, anything like that. I like to do a bronzer, and we're gonna go right into the crease. And I'm just gonna go in circular motions back and forth, and then blend out a little bit as well. And then we're going to do the other eye. And still moving in back and forth motions. Try not to go past right here. You don't want to go past here because you want to really lift that area and look youthful and tight. So I'm just continuing to buff that out and flicking out as well. Okay, so we have a really nice color on the lids. Now let's do the under eyes. I'm gonna switch to a smaller brush. It's still pretty fluffy, but it is much smaller, perfect for right underneath the eyes. And I'm gonna start right at the edge of my eye and then move in, going back and forth. And I'm gonna go back into that highlight that we used earlier. And I'm gonna take a little bit of this right in that inner corner. This is really gonna help brighten the eyes. Since we do have that bronzer right in here, it's really gonna make the eyes pop. So I'm literally gonna go right here. Okay, so now we're gonna go in with mascara. My personal favorite mascara is the Loreal Voluminous Lash Paradise. I love this mascara, and trust me, I have tried a million and one mascaras, but this one is a great formula. It actually lifts my eyelashes. It's not too wet and it's not too clumpy, and I can really actually apply a couple coats and it still gives me great result. And a little tip when you are doing your mascara, start at the root of your lash, wiggle a little bit, and then pull up. This is gonna give you a really good amount of mascara right at the root, so when you continue to apply, it's continuing to push that mascara up and really lift your eyelashes. So I like to go right at the root, and I'm really weird because I can close one of my eyes and have the other one open, but it actually really helps when you're doing mascara. Okay, so now that we have the eyes done, we're gonna move on to lips. Okay, so my camera died in the middle of me talking about that, so I had to charge it. And then I also threw on this hoodie because it's so cold in this house. This is my favorite hoodie of all time. So lips. So usually I just throw on a chapstick and I'm out the door. But for this, I do want to add a little bit of color back to my lips. So I am gonna put on a little bit of chapstick because my lips get chapped pretty easily. And honestly, is there any way to put on chapstick that's not weird looking? I make the weirdest faces when it comes to chapstick, I feel like. My personal favorite just on the go lip is the Milani Satin Lipstick in Bahama Beige. This thing has been used and abused. I probably should get another one. And I'm actually gonna apply this with a brush because it's pretty, hard to apply this to lips. This is really just every day on the go if you want to look more put together. Now I will say on the daily, I actually either I won't wear makeup at all, I'll wear mascara, and I'll do my eyebrows because without my eyebrows, people just don't recognize me. It's a real thing. It happens all the time. So I do like to apply my eyebrows. I thought about getting them like microbladed, but that kind of scares me because what if they like, I don't know. It just freaks me out. I don't know. Maybe I will one day, but not anytime soon. Okay, so now that we have everything on, we are looking very bronzed, still pretty natural, not too much, but a really nice step up to like your everyday makeup. The last step is gonna be setting your face. I love, love, love the Morphe Continuous Setting Spray. It smells amazing. I love the smell. I'm all about scents, so I love to smell good. I love for things to smell good around me. I have candles going all the time, so I'm just gonna go ahead and spray this all over. Okay, and just let this dry for a second. Oh, it smells so good. And it's so refreshing because it's kind of chilly on the face. Okay, so now that we've done the setting spray, I'm gonna go curl my hair and I'll be right back for the finished look. Okay guys, that is it for this everyday makeup look. If you loved this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and also comment down below any ideas that you guys would like me to film, any makeup tutorials, fashion ideas, shopping with me. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!